I did prick this finger, and this finger did really cry out, and I said to myself, my God, I think I had pricked the wrong finger. The most thing I do regret was not asking the sister who came in at the moment in time. Hi honeys, how are you? Tanya Nishailo here, and of course welcome back to my channel. What's popping, what's well, and of course all that particular kind of good stuff over there. If this is your first time over this platform, thank you very much for watching my face and of course clicking onto the video. Hi there, I'm Tanya Nishailo. I do videos about makeup, glam, fashion, beauty, and of course my medical career kind of vlogs. But of course, as you have seen from the title of the video to the thumbnail, today I'm going to be talking about my wrong mistakes that I've done as an intern student on ward placement, and of course to onto the hospital, and of course all the mistakes I have done as an intern onto the ward or the nursing placement points I'm about to be mentioning. I'm not mentioning this of course to offend anyone, and I'm not doing this basically to show off or of any intention. An intention, of course, admit onto that, but I'm just doing this. Maybe it can help out any nursing student out there who is going out for ward placement, and of course to just show him or her to be a little bit more careful with people's lives, and of course all the procedures and actually, for those people, of course, who don't know my story, I started going to the ward placement this year 2020 in the month of March. Yes, in the month of March, and I had not been for ward placement for the last one semester. I entered into nursing school, so it was an exciting time, kind of moment in my life that I was attending ward placement, and of course hospital attachment, and of course practicing everything I had studied before at school. I wanted to practice it, of course, onto the real patients, and of course in the right place where my career is, and of course that is the hospital, or literally different wards. And I was so blessed that I was given the pediatric ward. On the pediatric ward, pediatric, by the way, it means children's ward or infants ward. I was given that as my first ward, and I was specifically placed at the clinic of the children or the infants, and it was one of the most memorable and of course beautiful experience I can never forget in this career of mine, that is nursing, since the first time I entered there. And of course, though we are in quarantine, and of course away from school, and of course away from the ward, they're just very beautiful memories that I do cherish, which I spent with these different kids and infants, treating them, doing different procedures on them, and making sure that they are fine, and of course their parents are also fine, and of course have hope, and of course are grounded and strong and confident that their kids are going to heal. So literally the first mistake that I literally did make on the ward placement on my first day of ward attachment at the pediatric clinic, it was pricking, I think, the wrong finger. So literally I'm going to be telling you a little bit history about that, a little bit about that incidency. So literally the sister who, okay, there is a test known as MRDT, and that test is the full meaning is malaria rapid testing something. So literally the sister came in, so the official or the elder people, ladies in the nursing sector, we do call them sisters. So the sister who's responsible for the pediatric clinic came in, and she gave us a lecture of how to do the test, the MRDT test on 2 young babies. But we do these tests after we get the confidentials from the doctor. So there is a line that infant patients come into that clinic. When they come into that clinic, into that line, they first of all go through the nutrition office. From the nutrition office, at the nutrition office, they are supposed to be given different data about their kids. I'm talking about now patients. About parents, they are supposed to be given different data about their kids, which are the infants we are treating in this incidence, their weight, their height, because all those are important to measure out the different growth patterns of those kids. Are they healthy? Are they normal? Are they not normal? Are they progressing? And of course all that. So after they go through that line, they go to the doctor's room. In the doctor's room, the doctor carries out diagnosis. Diagnosis, it means finding out the different disease or the different cause of illness. Of course, the doctor prescribes the different medicine to that particular baby patient or infant. So from there, they are supposed to be coming for recording, and of course in recording, that's when you understand the different drugs the doctor has prescribed to the patient, or different tests, so that you as a nurse send the patient, the infant patient or the baby patient or the child patient with his parent to the different labs or if to other rooms for those different tests. So if for this instance in particular, the sister came in, she gave me the different instructions or a lecture of how to do prick the patient, the baby patient or the infant. She told me that you can prick this finger here, this finger. So my senses, I think they went in a wrong position or such together. I did prick. When I started pricking out the different patients, collecting the different blood samples, I did prick this finger and this finger. I don't know if you'll be able to see. So I did prick this finger and this finger and this finger. But remember from our anatomy and physiology that this finger and this finger and this finger, they do have a lot of nerve collection. And remember that the more the nerve, the more the pain, because nerves are more concentrated to the sympathetic system, the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system, I think, if I do remember my anatomy very well. Or how do they call it? The autonomic nervous system, I think, in general, or the parasympathetic. You guys, I don't remember that anatomy very well, but just know that they are coordinated with those systems. I think the parasympathetic system, because para means parts away from the body, so they have a lot of nerve impulses, meaning that there are increased chances of pain when you do prick this or prick this. So I did start pricking out the different baby patients, and of course I started pricking from this, and the baby did really cry out, and I said to myself, my God, I think I had pricked the wrong finger. Then my co-nurse came in, Nurse Ronnie. He did tell me that, Tanya, maybe they do prick this. I was like, but I remember she told me this. Then by that time, I didn't. The most thing I do regret was not asking the sister who came in at the moment in time that which finger do you prick, because my co-nurse literally went out for something I don't remember. Then I continued pricking. The second baby I also pricked this or this. I think I did prick this because she had issues with this finger. So she also did really cry out very much. And for reaching this time in particular, I said I'm not pricking any more child. I need to literally consult. Then when the sister came in and the line, just keep in mind that it was so big outside, I consulted her and I was supposed to prick this finger in particular, because this finger, not this but this, so the three have a lot of nerve impulses, we don't prick them. The two, less nerve impulses, not impulses, but nerves, they have less nerves, meaning less pain. So I started pricking these two, and gradually, of course, I was able to learn that, but it is one of the greatest mistakes so far I have made on my intern as a nurse. I remember very well that I also did make a mistake, not only once, but I think for the next 3 times. It was, of course, recording. You guys, I told you about that line that is at the clinicals of the pediatric or the pediatric clinic. That leads at the end of the chain to the recording room, where we do record the different drugs, the patient's name, the history, because all that is important at the end of the day to present to the government and, of course, the national medical stores for more drug supply, and, of course, all the different things that are not in stock or that are not in the pediatric pharmacy. So I did. I think it was my first job or gig I started doing when I arrived at my intern. I started out recording. I was literally recording. But just keep in mind that most of the time when you have not worked with a person for more than a few days or few months, you don't really do understand their handwriting and, of course, all that. So these different patients did come in with their books. Remember that Nagulu Hospital, where I'm currently working, or where I'm currently doing my internship, there are a lot of different doctors' room, and remember, not only doctors but also clinic officers, because clinic officers, they also do act as doctors. So they used to write down different drugs, especially patients who are not going for different tests into the lab, the blood count, and of course the MRID, and of course all other tests that are not going to the lab. We are supposed to write down the different drugs, take them to the pediatric clinic, the pediatric pharmacy, so that those patients do receive the drugs that are around. So I used to write down different drugs, which literally I don't understand. It's also a very huge mistake that I've literally made on ward. I wrote down different drugs that I was not understanding, and I remember that I was either nervous to ask, which I regret, because right now I can see the effect. Because if someone right now tries to recall down the different history of the month and the day I worked there recording those different drugs, my God, he or she may not understand the drugs and of course the different prescriptions. Because I used to just write down, there is a way how doctors write very, very bad. I don't know if it's only in Ugandan. The Ugandan doctors, only them, they write in that funny kind of way, or Ugandan clinic officers, except Dr. Hamza. I think that he writes well, the husband to Mrs. Rema Namakula Hamza Sevunya, I think so. So by the way, I was just passing that. I love that couple a lot, like a lot. So I think it's only a disease in our health system that we have to train our children who are going to be studying this health system, that they do write very well. Because I used to write down those different drugs and the prescriptions, and everything was wrong, and it was another mistake that I already made, and that I regret doing. But of course, later on, I did change that. I started asking, what is this drug? What is this drug? Remember, there is a sister who came in called Sister Fauzia. Yeah, Sister Fauzia at the pediatric clinic. She did really pass me throughout the whole thing. She told me, when you don't understand something, please do ask, because at the end of the day, you are going to be affecting the records. And I was able to change that. To talk about this last kind of point, but in combustion, not in combustion means burning, but in comparison to the last one, there are 2 points, but I'm going to try to add them up. So the first one is patient's books getting lost. It's also a mistake that I regret doing, especially at the pediatric clinic. I know that a lot of people may be like, but it's not your fault. So for in this case in particular, nurses, we are supposed to be very responsible for our patients, like very responsible. We are different from doctors, though we have a lot of similarities. We do treat, we do diagnose, and of course all that, but we do take an extra mile of taking care of patients' lives and make sure that they are safe with their property, and of course all that. We are equal to, I think, police officers or army, because we serve with love, and not only serving with love and patience, but also we keep everything in order for our patients. So here comes an incident where a patient who was 2 weeks old, and he was a boy with her mom. They did come in, I think she had a rash or something, and they had seen the doctor by then, and they came into my room where I was doing MRID tests, and of course all that I was supposed to be doing. She gave me in the book to record, and I was so busy, I remember that day. And I thought that I would finish up doing the MRID tests, and after the MRID test I would come in, then do the recording and take the book to the pharmacy, because I think the drugs of that young baby, they were around. So I remember that I went, she gave in the book. Then she had other 2 kids who had to attend a particular test in the lab, CBC or anything like that. So I sent them off to go there, as I told her that I'm going to take the book to the pharmacy. So when she came back in the evening, I was soon off duty, something like 30 minutes off duty, and she was like, I need the book, because if the drugs are not here, I'm supposed to be going to the pharmacy to buy these drugs. My baby has a rash. But she was soft, she was not very hard, she was soft, talking softly. Then I was like, Madam, I think the book got lost. I have looked for it, I'm not seeing it. The people who were at the reception from the pediatric pharmacy, they might have lost it. So she I continued looking for the book for some few minutes. I will not find it, and I was going off duty. Now right now I had something like 10 minutes because the second shift was coming in of nurses. So I wrote down the different drugs, and by now the point I've just talked behind this, that I was literally writing down different drugs, not even knowing their true names, but just writing, guessing from the doctor's handwriting, which was wrong. I regret it, by the way. I wrote down the things. She was not understanding them, I was not understanding them, and yeah, I told her just go take to the pharmacy, but sorry for that, it will not happen again. And yes, so literally it comes to the conclusion of the video. Thank you guys for watching my video. That's if you have been watching it. They have been my little not little but cringe kind of story time telling involving all the mistakes I've done as an intern student for the past few times I've been on toward placement, and of course with attachment. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure that you watch any of my recent nursing videos. Make sure that of course you subscribe to the channel. Recommend me to any other nursing student you know that is joining in next month, this month, another month, tomorrow, whatever the case may be. Remember that smartness, elegancy, and of course exploring the magic of our subconscious mind in 2020. Tanya and Shylock switching out. Bye for now. Oh, by the way, before I switch out, remember to follow me out on all my social media platforms. I know that you have been seeing everything throughout the screen from the start to this moment in time.